If you listen to money experts or finance gurus, financial advisors, one of the most common things they'll say is buying a new car is probably one of the worst financial decisions you can make, especially when you're young, you're trying to grow your net worth, you're trying to stack your bag, because it sets you back so much with the monthly payment, the car insurance, the depreciation. So usually it's not advisable to buy a new car. But every now and then, certain market conditions present a unique opportunity to actually turn a car from a depreciating asset into an asset that generates a pretty sizable return. So in this video, I'm going to go through the thought process and show you the numbers behind why I decided to pull the trigger on buying this new Tesla Model Y. My delivery date is at the end of the month on June 30th, so I don't have the car yet, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the thought process, show you the numbers, run the numbers here in this video, and by doing so, hopefully, you can gain some insight, maybe look at money a little differently, think about different ways where you can use your money to work for you, and pretty much generate pretty good returns. So let's get started right here. All right, so we are buying the new 2025, it's actually 2026, it's the 2026 Tesla Model Y. So we'll go here, everyone's seen this page. There's a pretty interesting Lyft incentive here. You can just sign up for a Lyft driver profile and then just link it to your Tesla profile, and it will give you $1,000 of Tesla credits that you can use for supercharging. You can use it for the Tesla shop. You can even use it for a future vehicle purchase, but it's $1,000. It's a credit, so it's not like you get anything off the purchase price, but it is nice to have. So we're just going to look at the cheapest Model Y here, which is let's just say $45,000. You should be pretty familiar with this page, but we'll go ahead and click Edit Savings. Obviously, we're going to apply the $7,500 federal tax credit. And the way it was before, you kind of had to make a certain amount to take full advantage of these $7,500. Otherwise, you wouldn't get the full amount. Now, there's a little bit of a gray area. You're just going to get the $7,500 anyway. Not a financial advisor, but it works. All right. Here in the state of New Jersey, they give you $2,000 off as a state incentive, and then also an additional $2,000 if you're broke. Basically, if you don't make enough money based on certain income criteria, you can get a total of $4,000. So we're going to go ahead and check this. When I check this, only $2,000 is applied off of the car price. So here, the estimated gas savings, it's more of a gimmick than anything else, but the gas savings is a real thing, especially if you charge at home. But for this video, we're just going to leave this unchecked so it doesn't affect our car price. And then estimated taxes and fees. Before, in New Jersey, there was no tax on EVs, but now they have a 3.1% sales tax, which isn't bad. But that's for the first half, the first 6 months of this year, it's 3.1. And then the latter half, from July 1st onwards, it doubles to about 6.2%. So that's why we need to take delivery of this car on June 30th, because on July 1st, the tax doubles. So we're going to include taxes and fees here. It's about $4,000, but the taxes is only about $1,500. We'll click the show details button. See here all the fees are associated with the car that you can't really get away with. But then the sales tax is $1,545. This will double come July 1st. If we're trying to make the most of it, we want to take delivery before July 1st, which is what we're going to do. We'll just leave everything as basic as it is, which is what I have. So I went ahead, put the order in. I decided to finance it because I was going to pay cash, but I transferred the cash over Tuesday night, and I didn't know if it was going to get into the bank account by Monday. And if it didn't get there by Monday, then they would have to push the delivery to July, and then I would have to pay extra sales tax. So I just decided to finance it. There's no prepayment penalty. All right, so let's go through this disclosure here. See here, the percentage is a promotional 1.99. It doesn't matter because on Tuesday or Wednesday next week, as soon as the money hits my bank account, I'm just going to pay off this whole financing thing and just own the car outright. All right, so we don't really need to talk about the number of payments or anything like this, but so the amount financed in this box, $37,316. This is how much the car itself costs after all of the fees, after all of the incentives, after all of the discounts, and then after all of our credits. The cost of the car is $37,316 for a 2026 Model Y, which is pretty good. Because I'm here in LA visiting my uncle. We went to a Toyota dealership, and they were looking at like a Highlander, that shit was 59,000 plus tax. So you're looking like a $65,000 car. I would argue that the Tesla Model Y, especially the refresh version, is a lot better. But anyway, so here we go. Let's just go through this as well. Itemization of financed amount. Cash price is $47,658. So here's the order fee. When you place the order, you have to pay $250. Here you see what is going on. Here you see the New Jersey charge up rebate. This is the state incentive. So it gives you $2,000, and then if based on income you submit your W-2, your tax return, and if it shows that you're poor, they'll give you another $2,000. So I get $4,000 here, and then the federal tax incentive was $7,500. Blah blah blah. All this, okay, and then all these are fees, registration fees. So the total cost of the car all in is $37,315. So when I go to pay off this financing, so when I go to pay off this car, this is pretty much how much I'm going to be paying, $37,315. So let's talk about some other things. So as we all know, the big beautiful bill is going to be getting rid of the EV tax incentive. Now it's scheduled to end at the end of this year. So what does that mean? That means that every EV, every Tesla that used to qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit will no longer qualify for the $7,500 tax credit. So effectively, the cost of the car is going to go up. Now, will Tesla compensate by lowering the MSRP of the car? Maybe, maybe not. If the Chinese cars ever came over to the US, even with tariffs, like, they would dominate. So basically, getting rid of the $7,500 tax credit is going to mean the cost of the car is going to cost more, right? All right, so now let's talk about what I plan on doing. So I'm planning on purchasing this car, like I said, all in. It's $37,315. This is the cash amount that I'm paying. Now, I'm going to be driving it. I'm going to be using it probably until January or February, at which point I'm probably going to sell it. And now the question is, how much can I sell it for, right? If we look here at the total sale price of this particular Model Y, which is the cheapest trim, $51,401. So if someone were to purchase this car from Tesla in 2026, assuming there are no new EV incentives, which I don't think they're going to be, right? So there's no $7,500 tax credit. There's no $2,000 New Jersey state EV credit. There's no additional $2,000 EV incentive. So if I were in Jersey, I'll probably be paying about let's say $54,000, because the tax is going to double from $1,500 to $3,000. So if you're to purchase this car in 2026 in the state of New Jersey, the all-in price would be about $54,000. Now, I paid for this car $37,315. So if I subtract $54,000, that's a difference of $16,685. So my plan is to put the car for sale, private sale, for about $45,000 to start. I think that's a pretty fair price for a used car that's only been used for about 6 months, brand new car. So would you rather pay $54,000 if you were to buy it from Tesla, assuming there are no more incentives, or would you rather buy second party, buy from me for $45,000? I think I would get a fair amount of interest at $45,000. So again, I paid for my car $37,300, which means I would profit about $7,700. Now, $7,700 divided by $37,315, that's 20% return on your cash in 6 months. If you were to leave your money in a high yield savings account, you're getting 4% per year. Here I'm getting 20%, almost 21% for about 6 months. Now, you might have to factor in things like insurance. So it might be like 19% on your cash, because you have to pay for insurance for those 6 to 7 months where you have the car under your name. So here in this scenario, we're stacking up all the tax credits, all the incentives. Thank you, taxpayers, for making my car cheaper, and then holding it for about 6 months when the incentives go away, and making about 19% on your money. Does that work? Again, not financial advice. Don't know if this Makes sense to me. So that's the plan.